the E.A.F.P podcast.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be.
We love him so much. He's a special person for all of us. He's so nice. He's so nice.
You can watch it live every week on Facebook under the Jonko Navi and the Star 6 Media Facebook page. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to the E.A.F.P podcast. It's slowly but surely starting to slow down as we are advancing into the World Cup, and now the quarterfinals, as you can see, are set here coming up for this weekend. But welcome back to the E.A.F.P podcast. I'm Eric here, host of the show. Make sure you guys follow me, not only just myself and my podcast, but also the Jonko Navi and also the Star 6 Media Facebook page, just to get notified when all our podcasts are live. We put out content every day, live podcasting every single day. And we can talk about whatever we talk about, from baseball to football to soccer, obviously, hockey, basketball, and much, 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 much more. Just follow us on either or Jonko Navi or the Star 6 Media Facebook page. I left the link on here for you guys to join me. The link is on here if you guys want to talk about the World Cup. Just click on the link. You don't necessarily have to show your face if you don't want to. If you just want to use your voice, that's fine too as well. It gives you the option. You can use your either laptop, your iPad, or any type of tablet, and also phone or mobile device. Look at me, just telling you guys what to do if you guys don't know what to do anyways at the moment. But yeah, well, we can see today we're talking about the final round of 16 matchups between Morocco and Spain, and also Portugal and Switzerland. There's a new star on the rise as of today, and a surprising quarterfinalist into this tournament too as well, and the very first for the FIFA World Cup as well. So we're going to get into that, and then we're going to dive into a little bit of dabble into the matchups for the quarterfinals that start on Friday. What does that mean? It means that there's no E.A.F.P tomorrow. There's no E.A.F.P on Thursday, but there definitely will be one on Friday, and definitely will be one on Saturday. Saturday, and definitely will be one on Sunday. Those are the matchups for the upcoming weekend. Let me see if I was right. Friday and Saturday. So there will be one on Friday, one on Saturday, and then one on Sunday, just to give you guys a little preview of what I think about this World Cup so far and the semifinals that are going to be set. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about today's matchups. Nothing really to talk about in the first matchup between Morocco and Spain. As you can see, that's basically all we got. 0-0, a 0-0 matchup. Morocco wins 3-0 on PKs. As if yesterday's PK's performance from Japan was even worse, Spain says, "Hold on, hold my beer real quick," and it's pretty obvious too. And to be honest, those were probably, outside of the first one, the first penalty that was taken by Spain, which was actually the only good one out of all three of them that were missed. That one actually hit the bottom post, and the goalkeeper would have had no shot to save. Well, maybe not. It had no shot saving that one. But all three PKs were horribly, at least the last two for sure, were horribly taken by Spain. You thought that yesterday's PK shots from Japan were worse. Well, Spain won up them today. And then Morocco actually being the first Middle Eastern / African team to make it to a quarterfinals in the World Cup history. And it's a good thing to see it. I love a little history. I love a little mix up here and there. That's the beauty thing about the World Cup. You ask for a mix up, you get the mix up, and you get that one team that, even though your nation or your team that you represent or your country you don't represent is no longer there, you find a darling team, or you find a team that you could get behind. And I think Morocco is one of those teams where you could get behind and support into this World Cup. Now, they do have a tall task, because I'm going to show you who they have coming up to the quarterfinal. If you guys don't know, it's the team that won today too as well. Spoiler. And this Morocco team is a very good team. They have a good attacking threats up top. They defend pretty well. They complicate things a little bit. They put pressure on you. Like every time you touch the ball, and I've seen it today too. And I saw today's game, and I think I further analyzed Morocco today. They pressure you. They put the pressure on you for you to turn over the ball, for you to get it. And then when they want to not pressure, sit back, relax, and kind of defend a little bit. They could do that well too. Um, it's one of those teams where they're easy to get behind, and I love a story like this, especially like I said, first African Middle Eastern team to make it out of I mean, to make it into the quarterfinal, and go and represent very well. Spain. To be honest, me personally, I did not put Spain to come out of this group in the first place. I thought this was going to be a team in transition from previous era to this new era coming in. I did say though the one thing that has them going though that will get them out of this funk, or at least get them out of this group stage, is Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique at least knows how to put in a squad, knows how to put up a good fight, and his tactics were well. I mean, they were good enough. Look, the both teams had opportunities in the first 90 to kind of put up ahead. I think Spain had the most clearest one in the free kick in the second half. I think like in the 50 some odd mid 55th minute. It was yeah. That was probably the only threat. The game was it didn't it wasn't exciting, but it was a tactical uh matchup. If you say like what team will break who down quicker, or and that both teams struggled to break each other down. They had their moments here and there. Yes, obviously you're gonna have your moments in the game, but they couldn't put it away. Even in going to extra time, I think Spain had the clear chance in extra time too as well. Other than that, they go to PKs, and Morocco decides to shoot first. They won the side, and Spain just disappointed. Like I said, outside of the first one, Spain disappointed shooting their PKs, and it was just a very sad thing to see. Like the run ups coming up, everything. It was just very disappointing to see. But congratulations to Morocco becoming the first, like I said, first Middle Eastern / African team to make it. The only reason why I say slash because they compete in the African in the qualifiers for the African division, but Middle Eastern because they're still in the Middle East. But I digress. Um, it again, congratulations to them. I think they deserve being into this quarterfinal. I mean, they were the number one. They came out tops in their group. The group where had Croatia and Belgium and Canada. They played all those three games well. They deserve to be the number one team in here. And the true test came today, and I think they passed with flying colors, even though it was a 0-0 draw throughout the whole 120 minutes. Uh, it, I mean, you could get behind this team and their matchup. It's going to be a difficult one, and the reason why it's a difficult one is because they faced the winner between Switzerland and Portugal today, and the news came out before the game that Cristiano Ronaldo was going to be on the bench. He had a fallout with the coach, and that was pretty much it. In the summer, Cristiano Ronaldo to where um, yeah, in the summer of Cristiano Ronaldo, where he started off with with a banger before the World Cup even started, right? Before anything has even happened, he he just yeah. I don't know how else to say it, but he wanted the spotlight. He had that interview before the World Cup started. He uh he did what he came out, had the interview, had the fallout with Manchester United. His contract was terminated by Manchester United. His he's a free agent now. They talks about him, being a distraction, and this team. And I mean, it didn't really look like it. I really didn't think that it was a Manchester United problem, not a Portugal problem. Even though Bruno Fernandes does play with Portugal, but that's a whole separate story. And even though there was a video of them before the World Cup even started of them shaking up and kind of like Bruno brushing them off, yada yada, whatever the case may be, it is what it is. Whatever. But then, I mean, there was a fallout during training during the week that led to Cristiano Ronaldo's benching for today's game. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, my Twitter account, EA the Sports Guy on Twitter, follow me. I know I couldn't think of anything more, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not very creative when it comes to names, but just follow me on Twitter if you guys haven't already. But yeah, it's EA the Sports Guy. And I did tweet out, watch Portugal. Portugal have a lot of more free flowing in their offensive attacking today, or something along those lines. I tweeted out. Well, I wasn't wrong, right? Six. You can see the score. 6-1. 6-1 was the score between Portugal and Switzerland. Switzerland team that defends well, that is very gritty. I mean, you've seen him against Serbia, the last game. They play very well in the Euros, 2 years ago. Again, it was a very interesting performance. Not interesting. Like there was a new star coming out, right? As you see, Gonzalo Ramos, a hat trick, the first hat trick of the World Cup, by the way, if you guys didn't know. But this team was just hitting on all cylinders, just dominating the possession of the game, dominating the attacking form. Like this team seemed just a little bit more better without Cristiano Ronaldo, and it showed once again that maybe just maybe this team doesn't really need Cristiano Ronaldo as their starter up front as the top guy. And I don't see anything wrong with that. It's not that Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't hold his right. Obviously, he's going to come in when the game is tight. Yeah, you need somebody. Cristiano Ronaldo is going to show. But what is he going to prove to you? What is he in the international level? And this Portugal team, who's very young, very dynamic, you could tell this team is very athletic and very dynamic going up forward. But I feel like they take a step or two back because of they need to feed the ball to Cristiano or find a way to get the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, and just that's the way they'll get their goal. They'll occasionally get a set piece here or there, whatever the case may be. Sure, whatever, but you could just tell like this team going forward was just dangerous, and Switzerland did not have an answer how to stop them. The moment Pepe scored the second goal off the corner kick, I right then and there you just seen the morale of Switzerland just go down, and the game was over from right there. Like Switzerland had no answer, and even in the second half, again, um, Ramos scoring the third one, and then probably like 4 or 5 minutes later, Rafael Guerreiro again scoring another one. Like this game was just out of reach from the start. I mean, obviously Switzerland got one back probably like 2 or 3 minutes after Guerreiro scored the fourth one, but by then it was too little, too late. And Rafael Leao, oh my god, that kid's gonna be special. That was just a beautiful goal from the left wing, cutting into his right, and just literally from the top of the 18, just putting it where the goalkeeper had no chance whatsoever. This Portugal team can be a sneaky dark horse the way that they're playing now to make it to the semifinal in this upcoming tournament and maybe cause some ruckus. Now, whatever the case may be, I mean, they're going to have a tall task if they do get out of this game against Morocco, which is also going to be a tough test, especially how Morocco has been playing. And I know I'm getting into the quarterfinals, and obviously I'm already having a jump step into it. But let me just put it right now. Let me just give you the quarterfinal matchups for this upcoming Friday, Saturday. But yeah, Portugal, Morocco, I think it's going to be the most interesting matchup throughout the group stage and how both teams have been coming into this World Cup, or at least coming into this round of 16, and how they play in this World Cup. This team is going to be of this game is going to be very interesting. And if can Portugal repeat the same performance again? Can Morocco find a way to put the ball in the back of the net and still keep this dynamic play that they're playing defensively and then getting them on the counter attack? I think that's going to be the style that they're going to play. But Portugal has shown that they got talent everywhere. And the guy that replaced the Cristiano Ronaldo today, he scored a hat trick. And like I said, there is one young player that is going to show out into this World Cup or show off in this World Cup. At least there's one player, and I think we found it, guys, in Giancarlo Ramos from Portugal, who plays in, I think he plays in Benfica, in Porto or Benfica, one of the top two teams in Portugal. But there's one player that comes out, and that's the one right there. If he starts again up front for Portugal, man, this team is gonna be yeah, some trouble coming into this World Cup with this guy, and this guy's gonna have a bright future ahead of him. But I like this matchup. I like this matchup. This matchup is going to be played on Saturday, because the teams that they play against in the semifinals all have to play on the same game or same day, should I say? So this one's gonna be played on Saturday. I want to say this is the first matchup Saturday at 9 a.m. between Portugal and Morocco, and this is a very interesting one to keep an eye on just the performance of two teams. That I mean, obviously Portugal's been there, done that, but in years prior, and Morocco being the first one there. I think it's two young, energetic teams that are trying to prove themselves into the world stage, and looking ahead also in 2026 and the 2026 World Cup here, to where they might not be the dark horse or the sleepers or the Cinderellas of the tournament. They might just be one of the main teams that you kind of keep an eye on out of just to see how they're going to perform into this in the tournament. So yeah, this game has definitely has my attention. But not only that game has my attention too as well. The other game that they're going to play, whoever comes out the winner of this game faces against the winner of this one. And I think just because of the depth, the quality, the overall performances from both teams, the everything that you have from players, like I'm talking about well named players on both sides, like their starting 11 versus England starting 11, France starting 11, can be, you know, by far the most even matchup because they match each other up very, very well. Depth wise, coming off the bench too as well. France has very, very good depth on their bench along with England too as well. I mean, how you can even have a starting lineup for the 26-man roster, a starting 11 that will probably be more. You know what? England probably might have the upper advantage on that one, simply because of what they have on the bench compared to what the France has. But France has a superstar. France has Kylian Mbappe. He's just lighting it up right now. He is just being the dominant superstar, dominant force, the player that we all thought that we saw 4 years ago, and even then now, even though he has some background issue or not background issues, but he has some, you know, this year coming up to the season before the World Cup, he had some backlash. You know, whatever he had with France or with PSG, highest paying player, but who was promised this and that and everything else that goes on top of it. Um, Whatever the case may be, you know, when he shows up for France, he shows up for France. And it's shown once again why France won it 4 years ago and why they are one of the favorites to go not only win it to go back to back, but one of the favorites in this tournament. And but England depth wise, and I was talking to a couple of my buddies and one of my fantasy football that watch soccer too as well. We were having a conversation like, you know, depth wise, you know, man for man, starting 11, like these two match themselves up evenly quite so. And I think the team that came out last week against Senegal, that beat Senegal in the round of 16, you know, if it's the same starting lineup, I said like England's front attacking front is better or is as better as France's attacking front. So even if it was Benzema or Giroud, England can still, you know, can still put a fight in their own. I mean, they have Harry Kane, who's one of the top strikers in the world, going on left or in the middle central, depending on how you want to put it. You know, Marcus Rashford and Phil Foden coming on both matches. My boy representing Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, you know, them two as well going up front. Like it's speed and creativity going up front. So it's an interesting matchup for Saturday for sure. But on Friday, I mean, we have Brazil versus Croatia. Oh, no, I didn't click it. Brazil versus Croatia and Croatia in this game too as well. And obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Brazil the last couple of days, simply because, you know, of the dancing, right? And a lot of people were really turned off about Brazil. And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what the score is. I mean, unless if it was like a 7-0 or drubbing or whatever the case may be, whatever it is. And coming from Brazil, I mean, if you don't want that to happen, don't let them score on you. Simple as that. As easy as that. I mean, what sportsmanship, whatever. But if you don't understand the game of soccer, the game of football, if you don't understand it, and you don't understand the culture of Brazilian football, and I had the privilege to play with or to be coached by, you know, a famous Brazilian soccer player in Claudio, their culture, their style of playing football is just, they have a different mindset, and it's just it's free flowing, and it's free flowing and love. That's basically how they play. And obviously, if they want to dance and score a goal, let them celebrate. I mean, you're not just gonna be boring and just be like, "Yay, goal, all right." No, if you have flair, if you have a little flair in you, show it out. Who cares? If they can't stop you, why should you stop having fun? That's all I have to say. I mean, if you don't want them to dance, don't let them score. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? Look how what they put four in literally a game, 45 minutes against South Korea, and just had fun throughout the whole second half, even though they got scored on, and they could have scored way more if it wasn't for the goalie of South Korea. But again, that's my alarm. Sorry about that. If it's simple, easy. That's it. That's all. This is a matchup where obviously there's a. Oh, I mean, if anything, this is probably the lopsided matchup. And I'm not. There's nothing. There's no disrespect about Croatia or anything like that. No disrespect, nothing at all. It's just when your World Cups performances, even though you were the runners up in the last one 4 years ago, but when you start off a tournament and you start off your games and you start off just pacing yourself, slowing the game down, trying to find a way to get in to get in the net or something along those lines, just taking your sweet time. With a team like Brazil, you can't play like that. You gotta be on it. You have to be as energetic as them. Find a way. But I don't think this is where Croatia finally made their match. Maybe 4 years ago it would have been a different story. But this Brazilian team's hitting on all cylinders. I don't know. I am happy to have these matchups, coming up because look, it's the same teams that you see almost in every single World Cup, minus the Spains and the Germanys and the Italies, who Italy didn't even qualify this year. But you really just see the same typical 8 teams that you kind of see in every tournament around this stage: the Argentinas, the Frances, the Englands, the the Portugals, the Brazils, the Netherlands. Is basically the same. Like we want to have darlings. We have a Morocco in this tournament right now in the quarterfinals, and that's the sweet part about it. One may get in, and this was it too. This is the team that got in. I mean, Russia. I mean, hell, I think Russia even went to the semifinal 4 years ago too, as well. But they were the host nation, so it, it is what it is on that part. Um, but this matchup is probably the most lopsided matchup in the tournament, and there's no ands and buts about it. It's literally the lopsided one for sure. And then obviously the first one on Friday, it's going to be these guys, Argentina versus the Netherlands. Can Argentina pull it off again? Can they beat Netherlands in this tournament? I mean, again, Netherlands, who are a very very great solid defensive team, and attacking wise, they have options going up front too as well with Cody Gakpo, with Memphis Depay, Frankie De Jong right there, boss in the midfield. Netherlands have talent to take Argentina on. And this is going to be a matchup to watch too as well. It's not as lopsided. I think Argentina coming into this matchup is probably the slight favorite to come out of this matchup, and heading into the semifinal, where we are going to have a collision course of South American battle that we see twice a year in World Cup qualifying and CONMEBOL. But that's another story for another day when we get there. But this matchup, I mean, obviously the storyline is can Messi and Argentina do it? Obviously, this is going to be on Messi's back, and Messi in the round of 16 matchup, he did what he did. He got the goal going and basically put this game to 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 get them into the quarterfinal. And then you just seen everybody just follow through and follow him. He's the main guy too in this team. And if he goes, they don't go. But there's moments, and there's already been a game this tournament where if Messi doesn't show up, at least the guys show up and got his back too as well. So this is an interesting matchup to see for sure as well. Because if there's a team outside the Frances, the Brazils, the Englands, um, to put a dent in Argentina's journey into this World Cup, it's this team that they're facing right now this weekend, this Friday in Netherlands. I honestly do believe if everything goes right for Netherlands, they could put the dent, and we could see Netherlands in the semifinal. Who again, a couple years, 8 years ago, they were in the World Cup semifinal once again, and go back 12, they were in the final and losing against France. So I mean, it's a team that's been there, done that too. Again, different generation, different era, but the passion and the football playing style of Netherlands are still there. And once again, they're in another quarterfinal, and once again they have to prove not only just to themselves but the rest of the world that they shouldn't go under the radar like people want to put them in. And plus, they came out of an easy group too as well, in Group A, that had Senegal, Qatar, and Ecuador, which wasn't as easy, but they had the host nation, which was an easy 3 points guaranteed. But as you can see, they were battle tested in that group too as well. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun quarterfinal matchups. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to pick because I mean, this World Cup it has been very interesting, and interesting for good. I'm not saying interesting is bad, but it's interesting for good. And what I'm going to see, or what I see right now, right, is what teams are going to come out of this group, right? What teams are going to show out? What teams are going to make it to the next round? Who do I personally want to see in this matchup? I mean, I would love to have of Argentina for the world to see an Argentina Brazil matchup in a semifinal. Imagine how crazy that would be, right? We saw them playing in the Copa America where Messi got his first international trophy with Argentina a couple years back. I want to say 2 3 years ago. Um, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago was the one. Messi getting his international trophy with Argentina against Brazil, but you saw the hard fought battles. I mean, how when they play against each other in World Cup qualifying matchups, how crazy those matchups get, right? How crazy that games could get, how physical could that games be, and we might have a treat. The world might have a treat to finally see that in a World Cup stage and in a World Cup semifinal where the winner advances to the World Cup final to chance to become the champion. And it will be a treat to see. And I will personally love that. So if I would go if I were to choose the matchups right on who's coming out of this group or the out of the quarterfinals, I would definitely pick Argentina. I think this is the lopsided one. Brazil are just going to be heavily favorites off of this one. I do believe Brazil will come on this matchup. The Portugal Morocco game. I mean, what I seen today from Portugal makes me feel like they can actually get into the semifinal and play and go toe to toe against the other game that I'm about to choose right now because that one's probably going to be the most difficult one out of all of them, right? But if I see the same Portugal team that I saw today, uh, and even though Morocco has been a wonderful story and they became the first in the African country and Middle Eastern to make it into the quarterfinals, congratulations to them. But if I see or if what I saw today carries over to this, I absolutely do not see Morocco standing a chance against Portugal this game. I mean, they just put a six. Yeah, granted it's Switzerland, but Switzerland has been one of those teams in Europe that is one of those gritty teams, those annoying teams in the European competition, and will reach far in a tournament. Um, because of the style that they play. But this time around, man, whew, Portugal literally impressed me today. They're the big winners in this round of 16. Um, Huge winners to me in this round of 16. I mean, yeah, France dominated Poland. Yes, Argentina, even though they barely squeaked by Australia 2-1, and England easily passed Senegal. Portugal impressed me today, and I enjoyed watching them play today. And it's hard for me to say that and to gravitate myself for a Portugal team because obviously it's only one player base centric in Cristiano Ronaldo, but for him being benched today and give the liberty to Portugal to be the new up and coming athletic Portugal, I, I saw big things coming from them today. So I will choose Portugal in this matchup. I think Portugal will come out of this game on top and heading to the semifinal. And this one's going to be difficult. This one is a difficult matchup to choose because again, they're evenly matched, man. They are evenly matched, toe for toe, starting 11. I mean, you pick. I mean, obviously, if you put a combined 11, um, Lloris is probably your goalie over Jordan Pickford if there was one there. Your right back, I think you'll probably go with Kyle Walker. Center back, so, I mean, Varane will always be there, even though he's not there. Um, Pick and choose your center backs, left backs. I mean, middles. Strength wise, toe for toe, these guys are just evenly matched, man. And I think this is the one where like, you can't go wrong on who it advances, right? But if it does come down to one player, I mean, Kylian Mbappe is that guy, and that's where I probably give France the edge slightly over England. I think this is not going to be an exciting matchup. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, I am wrong, right? But I think this is a test for England and Gary Southgate. Um, Yeah, it's gonna be a test for England and Southgate. What can Southgate do to take England over the hump? Because this is probably the biggest test heading into the World Cup against France. And I think once the groups were lined up, I think this was known as the biggest test because after that, I mean, it's either Morocco and Portugal. It's not the France, but what you've seen for Portugal, I mean, you can't take them lightly, right? Um, if it's based on one player, I think Kylian is probably literally the best in the world right now at the moment, and is the guy in the World Cup. So if I'm wrong, I mean not wrong. You can't go wrong. I think it's France. France because of one player. That's it. That's all. So I'm gonna go Argentina, Brazil, Portugal, and France as my semifinalists, and we'll get to see that on Friday. But man, this one's gonna be tough. Remember, the games start on Friday at 9 a.m. It's the first. It's these two. Argentina and Netherlands is the first. I mean, the first one is Brazil, Croatia at 9, and at 1 o'clock, it is Argentina versus Netherlands on Friday, and on Saturday we have Morocco, Portugal at 9, and at 1 o'clock, France versus England. It's going to be very good games. It's going to be very highly competitive. It's going to be Ooh, an exciting quarterfinals, and then you'll have the E.A.F.P on Friday and on Saturday to talk about the matchups. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. Make sure I'll be on back on Friday, so there's no E.A.F.P podcast show tomorrow and or Thursday. Friday will be the day. Saturday will be the day. Make sure you also follow the John Conavi and also the Star Six Media Facebook pages as well. Make sure you guys follow us, give us a like, subscribe to all our social media platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and also TikTok. And also just hit the little bell to get notified when all our episodes are live, not just my show, the E.A.F.P podcast, but also Sports Trip Live, the JCA Sports Podcast, Big League Chicago, 3 Up, 3 Down. Uh, I have it here. I'm going to say it right for the first time because I've been getting slack from the guys that I have been saying it right. Slot Shot and Only Football. Finally said it right, guys. Give me some props. Yeah, just make sure you guys follow us, subscribe, and make sure you guys hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are live. So yes, I will see you guys on Friday. No E.A.F.P. like I said, tomorrow or Thursday. Friday will be the day. Saturday will be the day. And yeah, let's get ready. This is where it gets fun and interesting, guys. The quarterfinals are set. The matchups are interesting, and it's going to be a lovely weekend of pure World Cup soccer. So until then, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for listening, for watching, and I will see you guys on Friday.
Scrooge smile with the quality of his goal.
See you later.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.